Welcome, everyone. It's me, Kathy. I'm here again. I am so happy that you are here. We'll probably see people trickling on in. Hi, Patrick. Thanks for hi there in the chat. We're so delighted you're here. Let us know where you're watching from, anywhere in the world. Coach Factory serves clients all over the world. We have a ton of people in the United States and Europe and some surprising countries. So we would love to hear where you are watching from. Today we have a very special topic that's very special to me because I have seen how important speaking is for building a business, whether it's a coaching business or anything else. Now, my name's Kathy Zant. I have been in the tech industry for quite some time, but my husband, who I met in 2006, was a coach. He is now retired, but I helped him and supported him through his business because I had all the tech and admin skills, and he was the guy on stage. He spoke around the world. I got to see how it built his business and made connections for him. And it has made connections for me in the tech field. So, we wanted to introduce this topic and go a little bit deeper. And I want to share some stories of how speaking in front of audiences, whether online like this or in a room full of people in person, speaking can really change your life and your business and forge connections you never could forge in any other way. We are here at Coach Factory to be of service to coaches. If you are one of our VIP members, you would know that there are tons of free resources on the site, free to anyone. Membership as a VIP member is completely free as well. We also have an amazing Facebook group that we just started a few weeks ago. Got about 50 something members in there, and it's a place for us to discuss what it's like out there in the field in the coaching business so that we can better support you. We're going to be talking about speaking. We're going to talk about how to not only construct a speech that is going to connect with an audience, but we're going to talk about how to find speaking engagements. And I have one tip of how to set up an event that you run yourself and how that can be something that really jumpstarts speaking. It is an amazing way for you to find new clients. But let's get started. When you are standing on a stage, you have a captive audience. Now, they might have their phones in their hand and they might be scrolling when they're a little bored, but they're there listening to you. It is a wonderful way to really showcase who you are, your expertise, tell your stories, exhibit your experience, and also inspire them to take action, inspire them to live a better life, inspire them in any way your mission serves your clients. Also, they're looking for a little bit of entertainment. And you might not feel like you are an entertainer, but there are opportunities to entertain an audience. I'm going to talk a little bit about an experience I had that was really eye opening for me standing in front of an audience. And I'm going to share that insight with you as we get started. It's an amazing way for you to build trust and credibility, and I'll explain all the ways that we do that as speakers. It expands your reach to audiences you might never have been in front of before. And you're not just providing value to that audience, you're providing value to people who can help you build your business, event organizers. If someone is organizing a meetup, any kind of annual event, they're always looking for speakers who are going to help round out a program that attracts in new people for their events. When they know that you're going to show up and deliver, you become one of their top selections when they're organizing events. So, we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that as well. So, how do you find speaking engagements? We talked about that in the webinar last week. And if you weren't here for that, is up on our YouTube channel. You can find that. It's got timestamps and everything, but you can find them at local events. It's the easiest way to really get started. Just look around your environment and find local meetups, local associations, events, even churches. My dog is having a puppy dream. I'm so sorry if that's getting picked up. There's also national events, and a national event can be amazing because it's pulling in an audience that may fly to a location so that they can all gather within your industry. There could be trade shows, there can be industry events, Educational institutions are another amazing place where you can find an audience. It's not just speaking to students, although maybe there are graduate students who might need to learn from your experience and your education, but you might also be speaking to faculty or speaking to an event that an educational institution is having near you. Corporate events. Now, if you've ever worked in a 9 to 5 job in a big company, you know what they do. They have these team building exercises, they have retreats, they have all sorts of events within a corporation that brings teams together and they look for speakers. And some of these gigs can be paid speaking gigs. If you are a speaker, if you have something of value, inspiration and education that's going to help a company up level to their next level of profitability, you're definitely someone that they're going to want to talk to and bring in to speak to an entire organization. If you inspire people from spiritual perspectives, church groups are amazing. And all of these organizers, they're looking for new speakers all the time. They're looking for something new. They're looking for something to draw an audience. We all just went through this pandemic that locked us all in our houses. And event organizers are looking for the next great speaker that's going to bring everybody back to their association, to their organization, to their church, to their meetup. Whatever event they are doing, they want to bring people back. So they want something new, something fresh, and they're looking for speakers. They're looking for someone just like you. They just need to know that you exist. And one thing you can do is go online and do a search for call for speakers. Because a lot of what these organizers do, and in the WordPress space, I was an organizer for events they call WordCamps. And I organized for WordCamp Phoenix and WordCamp US, the larger national event. I was one of the people who were combing over all of these pitches for speeches. So I know what people were looking for as organizers. And I'm going to share you some tips so you know what people who are organizing are looking for. But you find these call for speakers and you can do the perfect pitch and be considered. Now you're going to have to beat out a lot of other speakers who have pitched their talks, but I've got some tips and tricks in just a minute. But first of all, I wanted to share something I did for a previous company that I worked for in the WordPress space, and that was create our own event. Now, I worked for a product that had a plugin for WordPress and a theme for WordPress, and I created an event for WordPress for professionals, but it wasn't just about our product. It was about WordPress as a whole. So I got security speaker. I got someone about how to fine tune a WordPress site for performance. Somebody how to build a landing page, how to use certain blocks within WordPress in order to make a site really shine. So it was an event that was designed to be of service to the audience. And then I took our developer and he was the keynote speaker. So you can do something like this as well. If you are, say, a small business hiring coach, you consult with companies that are small businesses that are scaling and they need to bring on the absolute best employees. You probably know someone who does accounting for small businesses, and you probably know someone who does marketing, or even somebody who does something with websites. These are your speakers. Create your own event, call it something. AI is great for this. Just go ask AI for some possible event titles, just provide some information about what the event's trying to do, and create your own event. This way, you're bringing in other speakers. You set yourself up as the keynote speakers, and then your speakers market to their audience as well. The accounting expert is going to go to their customers and their prospects and say, "Hey, I'm speaking at this great event. You should join." This way, your event becomes a way to attract in new clients and establish you as an authority in your field to your target market, as an organization, as a person, as a speaker that has authority in your space. Make it manageable. It doesn't have to be an all day event, although that's what I did. And it was exhausting. Do a 3 hour event and maybe have just like 30-minute sessions just with a few speakers. But if you just get together with a few other people in your industry, organize an event, put it under your banner that it's your event and you're organizing, you're doing all of the work, you also provide value to your colleagues, your network. In that way, you set yourself up as the authority. You could even do it in person if you wanted to. You could have people in your local area organize an event that might be a little bit longer and might have a little more administrative stuff. You might need to feed people and find a venue, all that fun stuff. But either way, you organize an event and you are the keynote speaker and you have that authority. Make sure you record everything, of course. Get those individual talks, repurpose them for social media, and get those shorts. Everybody's watching shorts these days, aren't they? So just get out there. And when you're going to larger organizations and you're pitching a talk, there are four main things that an organizer is looking for. The title of your talk and the description are going to be key. You're going to want to title your talk in a way that sort of evokes some curiosity, that evokes a need, a desire. I want to know more. The title is so important. And then the description supports that title. With titles and descriptions, you want to challenge an assumption. You want to meet people where they're at, and then you want to lead them to where you want them to go. One example, I give a lot of security talks, and in the WordPress space, for example, a lot of people think nobody's going to hack into my insignificant site. It's just my coaching site. Unfortunately, in the hacking world, targeting the New York Times, where there's a security operations teams and very expensive firewalls, that's probably not going to work. But they expect smaller businesses to have less security, so they target smaller businesses because they can hack into 100 small businesses and have the same impact as hacking into like the New York Times. But a lot of small businesses, they just assume that their site is not going to be hacked. So I have one of my talks, I challenge that, and I'll show you an example of that in a bit. What assumption do people in your industry have? What can you challenge? What can you make them think differently about? What problems are you helping an audience solve? And then, of course, there has to be a takeaway. What is your audience going to learn? And make sure you have something audience will leave with. Your biography, they want to know that you have credibility, why you are uniquely qualified to present. So, your biography and who you are is very important when you're pitching a talk for a call to speaker or for any event. And that most of the larger organizations are going to want to know that you have some past speaking experience. That's going to factor into how they evaluate you against all of the other pitches that they've received. So you'll want to include that as well. They're also going to want a headshot. So that's going to be something that that usually they'll ask for that after they like, oh, we'd like to invite you to speak. We love your pitch. It's going to be great. As an organizer, we would often just first look at all of the talks, all the titles, all of the descriptions separate. We would basically take the person out of it and really evaluate the talk and the description first, and then narrow it down into, well, does this fit into our program? Does this fit into the track for business? Does this fit into the track for developers? So for like larger events, those are where you're really going to want to lean into. And then once they've narrowed it down to the top ones, then they'll start looking at your biography, who you are, do you have previous experience, and they'll make their determination on that. So if you are a novice speaker and you've never spoken before, you might have the perfect talk. And they might say, let's take a risk on this person. Let's put this person, maybe we'll put this person at the end of the day, but their talk is so perfect. We want to bring this to our audience. Don't let prior experience stop you from trying. The worst thing that's going to happen is they'll say no. And everybody gets no. Even experienced speakers who do pitches will get a no. You just have to get out there and try. The thing that you're doing is not necessarily just speaking to an audience, although that's amazing. That's awesome. But you are building your brand as a speaker. What does this do for you? When you build a brand as a speaker, you start getting invited to speak. Your inbox fills up with requests. I have 3 speaking engagements in March that I didn't ask for, but because I am known to speak on certain topics, they come to me and I evaluate them. And then I give them titles and they select which title. And it's much easier. I'm not out there like hungry for a speaking engagement. They come to me. Eventually, when you start doing this repeatedly, you become known as a speaker. You become known as someone who is an expert in your field. You become someone that gets referred. You could become someone that gets a phone call. So you want to establish your brand as a speaker because it's going to open up so many different avenues for your business. You get invited back. Now, it's important to realize you have two different audiences, right? You have the audience that's going to be sitting in front of you, the ones that you really want to connect with. But event organizers are your audience as well. You want to make sure that they get everything that they need fast. If they ask for something, make sure that they get it quickly. If they need a headshot, boom, you have it ready to go. They want a speaker that they can rely on to entertain their audiences. What's their motivation? Their motivation is an amazing event that pulls all sorts of people in. They will organize an event and put together a program and then go market it. And they want to make sure the speakers and the presentations, the information that is in their marketing materials is to pull an audience in. So you're providing information to them so that they can market the event, not just this time, not just this year. They're looking to organize for next year, right? If it's an annual event, they want to make sure that next year is great. So they want to make sure that everyone who is on stage with their event shows up on time, delivers what they promised in their descriptions, and is getting great feedback, is helping to build a community so that their event has a legacy and a reputation going forward. So part of your job as a speaker is to support that as well as present an amazing talk as well. Once you're booked, amazing. Guess what you have? You have something to talk about with your audience. It establishes your authority and credibility just by being booked, just by being a speaker at an event. All of a sudden, people look at you a little bit differently. They see your credibility, they see your expertise in a different light. So get out there and market your speaking engagement. It's something that event organizers want you to do as well. They leverage you to get out and market the event, but it's also great for you just to showcase that you are speaking at this event. Email your list, social posts, market anywhere that you market. Share that you are going to be a speaker at this event because it elevates your credibility. Another thing you want to do to your list, to all of the people that you know who might be going to this event, tell them to come say hi. What this does is, first of all, to your list, somebody might not even be going to this event, but if you say, please come say hi, it showcases your openness, your desire to connect with them from an unconscious layer. They're like, oh, Kathy is very approachable. I can email Kathy about anything. You want to have conversations with everyone on your list. So invite your contacts to come say hi if they're going to be there, but it also just demonstrates your approachability. All right. Let's write a talk. All right. I was in speech a lot. Was on the speech team in college. I was in the debate team in high school. How far back do I have to go? My father made me a lector at church. There's a lot of hard words in the Bible. I learned very young, but I've been on designing speeches and speaking extemporaneously, impromptu, persuasively, informative. They were my talks. I really enjoyed them. And the one thing college professors always told me, just remember, tell them what you're going to tell them what you're telling them, and then tell them what you just told them. That's how you structure a speech. How hard is that? So easy, isn't it? Well, it sounds super easy, right? We're simplifying it. But you do want to, in your introduction, tell them what you're going to tell them. And then you want 2 or 3 main points that you want your audience to get. When I first started speaking professionally, I was one of those speakers, a fire hose speaker, we would call us. I was one of them. I wanted to get on stage and provide value, right? I wanted to give them as much information as possible. So I'd have these like slide decks that were like 40 pages long, and it was too much. I had to really scale it back and really just tell them a few points. People aren't going to remember 40 points, right? They're going to remember the stories that you tell. They're going to remember a couple of data points that you have. They're going to remember the main points that you want to get across. So stick to those things. just 2 or 3 main points and some information to back those things up. And then in the conclusion, you want to just reaffirm that they're empowered. All of the information that you've given them empowers them to do something, empowers them to live a better life, empowers them to take control of an area of their life where they don't feel like they're in control, to empower them to take action. We want to have a call to action at the end of every talk because you don't want to walk out of the room and never see these people again, right? This is a place where you're establishing authority, but it's also a place where you're establishing connections. People love being able to sign up for a list and get more information. Here's a sample outline for that talk I mentioned, why hackers target small business websites and what you can do about it. I have a basic introduction, who's attacking you and why, what is at risk. So I really drive home the fact that there's legal and financial repercussions to a hack. It's not just, oh, restore it from backup. If you have customers that are buying things on your site and their information is exposed, there's problems associated with that. And then I empower them with ways that they can protect their website. And then the conclusion has a call to action. Now, my call to action is if you want to get on my email list, I will give you my security checklist. And it's a long checklist that I devised when I was working at a security company. And it's basically a security audit, everything you need to know about a WordPress site so that you can double check the security. And if you want that, you can mail me at Kathy at Motivations AI. It's just a free thing. You don't even have to sign up to my list for it. I will give you that one for free if you want it because it's somewhat ancillary related. But you want to have something that entices them to stay in touch, entices them to deepen the relationship, to get something from you and to get a deeper relationship, really, because that's what it's all about, right? All marketing, all sales, all coaching is really about relationships. And speaking is an amazing way for you to start developing those relationships. But I'll tell you what, every event, people are really excited to hear from you and they're really excited about what you're doing. But when they go home, the dog needs a bath and the kids need a ride somewhere and life takes over. They have so many other things that they have to do. They forget and they move on. They might remember a few of your stories, but they don't take any action. So you want to make sure you encourage action right then and there. So get them on the list. Use a QR code. You can put it right on your slide. There's free QR code generators all over the internet, so you can just generate one. If you picked up your phone and scanned this one, it would take you to Coach Factory. That makes it really easy. You'll see a lot of times in events when you're speaking in front of an audience, people are sitting there with their phones and they'll take pictures of your slides. Offer them a download of the slides. If you want a download of the slides, Kathy at motivationsai.com, and I can send you these slides as well. You can set up a lead form and offer a free coaching call for anybody who feels inspired. Get them while they're sitting in the seat. Have them take action while they are right there because they're not going to do it when they get home. When you get home, you're going to be busy, but when they get home, they're going to be busy with things unrelated to your business, and you want them to take action while they're there. Make sure your final slide has all of your contact information, social media, that QR code. Make that the place where you continue conversations. Something else to consider when you're standing on a stage is how are your audiences motivated? How are your clients motivated? What makes them take action? And what type of people are the ones that you want to deepen relationships with? There are different motivational dimensions. Now, my motivational dimensions, I am a visionary. I like big ideas and big things. I dream up big stuff all the time and drag my coworkers along like I'm doing here. And I'm an influencer. I like to make an impact. I like to persuade people that they are not as trapped into the virus of their minds as they think, that they can find the freedom that they're looking for. Everything I do leans into those things. And so I don't speak to all of these motivational dimensions. I love an optimizer. I love an orchestrator. I love those people who can organize things and get things done. And I pressured myself for many years to be that. And then after I took motivation code, I realized, oh, that's not my strong suit. There are other people who are really good at that. And what if I just let go and lean into where my motivational dimensions are and let other people do that? When you're speaking in front of an audience, it's important to remember who your audience is. And you're probably only going to connect with certain types of people, right? you're going to have to connect with the ones that you want to have client relationships with. And you probably, if you looked at all of your clients and did motivation code with them, you would probably notice that you have a few that are your favorite clients and a few that are just standout. Oh my gosh, all of my clients are achievers, or all of my clients are drivers or learners. Everybody's different. Know who you are and know who your audience is. And that way, you can have a room full of 30 people, and maybe 5 of them are your audience, are influencers, visionaries, like for me. Connect with them. You're going to want to persuade them, because those are the ones that you're really going to want to work with. I'm sure everybody else in the room is going to get value from your talk, but there's special people in the room. And by designing your talk in a way that really communicates to the people that you love working with, build your coaching business into something you want it to be. You can get your own M Code report. The light report is just $19, and you can get 25% off with Coach Go as the coupon code. And you get this full report that gives you some detail on how you're motivated, so you can let go of the things you don't want to do and lean into the places where you shine, where you're fulfilled, where you really light up. So you can get that on motivationcode.com if that sounds interesting to you. All right. We had somebody ask about the fear of public speaking. Sean, who is in the comments, he's our executive director at Coach Factory. He can attest to how I was feeling in the 2 minutes up before this. I'm nervous before every presentation. Doesn't matter that I've done hundreds of them. The thing is, you got to get used to feeling it and doing it anyway. The nervousness isn't going to go away. I wasn't nervous yesterday. I was only nervous like about 20 minutes before the presentation. And in the 5 minutes right before the presentation, it amps up a little bit. You start learning what's making you nervous, and then you manage that nerve. That whole idea of feel the fear and do it anyway, it applies with public speaking. Is one of those things where they ask people, what are the things that you fear the most? And public speaking ranks higher than death. The things that people are most afraid of. And when I first started speaking after many years, and I was on the speech team, I was on the debate team in smaller rooms, and it's college and it's high school and everything. But when I started doing it myself professionally, and it wasn't like just supporting my husband doing it, I was a ball of nerves. It is part of the process. But if you rehearse and you know your material and your stories, then you're going to be just fine. Now, if you are speaking in front of an audience, if you are walking into a room, show up early. When you know the layout of the room, you know what microphones that are going to be used, you know where the camera is, you know where everybody's sitting, and maybe you see a friendly face or two in the audience of your friends who are coming there to support you. You get a feel of the room, and it really helps. Another thing to do is they'll provide you like a green room. Go in the green room like 3 hours before a talk, but right before your talk, get a feel of what the audience is going through. And I have a story for you. I was at WordCamp Phoenix, and it was the first WordCamp Phoenix that they were having after the pandemic. And so I was an organizer in, I think, 2020, and then it came back in 2024. I was speaking right after opening remarks, and I could just tell everybody was so happy to be there. People were so happy to just be back and seeing their old friends that they hadn't seen in so many years. I used that energy. So I got on stage and I'm giving a security talk, right? Boring, but I knew where everybody was. So I just asked the audience, "How happy are you to be back?" And everybody cheered. They cheered. And that feeling of having a cheering audience in front of you, they're not cheering for me. I gave them permission to feel good. And if you can do that, everything just flows. It almost becomes a feedback loop of their energy in the room. You feel how they're feeling. You give them permission to feel excited, happy, and it feeds your presentation, it calms your nerves, it makes you feel like you are exactly where you are supposed to be. So use that, just pay attention to how people are and give them permission to be happy, to cheer before you've ever even started. I did that at another event too. It's something that I've learned, and I'm passing that on to you as just a little trick to trick yourself into feeling the audience's positive energy. Just give them permission to feel it. Everybody wants to feel good. Are people cheering for Taylor Swift because it's the best music in the world? Some songs are good, right? But she gives them permission to be excited. She gives them permission to feel that energy within themselves of happiness, right? She puts them in a state. You can do that too. And when you do that, your talk just feels right. Now, if you're nervous, they say don't try to use your mind to change your mind. Use your physiology to change your mind, right? If you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain is spinning, you can't outthink your brain to try to make it go back to sleep. So things like deep breathing, hydrating, just centering yourself, relaxation exercises, all can be really helpful when you're in the midst of those pre-talk nerves. They are going to happen. And guess what? You're going to speak and something's not going to go the way you planned. It's not going to go the way you rehearsed. It's going to, oh, I forgot to mention that story. I really wanted to say this thing and I forgot. It's okay. It's fine. Whatever comes out of your mouth when you're standing on stage, you are in your flow. And when you are in your flow, whatever comes out is going to be perfect. There are some things I've said in this talk that I didn't say when I rehearsed 2 hours ago. Things will come to you, and if you can be relaxed enough to allow that flow to happen, magic will happen when you're on stage. And make sure you don't read your slides. You might want to highlight some things on your slides and you'll have information that's important. But really, people are there to see you. They are there to listen to you. They are not there to read your slides. They can read your slides at home. They can read this information. They can research it on the internet. They are there for you. So you have to show up and you have to let that flow happen. Questions and answer can be an amazing experience. Now, that event that I told you about that I organized for the WordPress product, I invited someone who had never given a speech before, but I knew he was an expert on WordPress performance. He's a friend now, but I had been following his information online for years and I asked him to speak. And he was so scared and his presentation was good. But in Q&A, when I got on there with him, because I'm seeing the event, and if audience didn't have questions, I asked my own questions and facilitated and supported him and helped him through his presentation, right? Q&A, he lit up. Q&A, he's, oh yeah, and it was so good for him. So Q&A, actually look forward to Q&A. But you will get interruptions. You will get, I have had hecklers. As someone who's with blonde hair and a feminine voice, I always seem to attract guys who want to show me up on security. The security space is very much, what do you know? How well do you know it? And I'll tell you right now, I'm a security expert, but there are people who know more than me. Reverse malware engineering is not my thing, but I have stories. I have unhacked 3,000 plus websites. I have done tons of research. I went to security school. I learned how to be a hacker. I have information, but I always attract in one guy who sits right in front of me at every security talk who wants to throw me off my game. I love those guys. I really do. Because here's the thing. You get somebody up there who's going to challenge you, play with them. They are actually not really there to make you look like a fool. They're there to engage. And every single one of them that I would engage with, and people would come to me after the talk like, "Oh my gosh, how'd you handle that guy?" I just talked to him. I just talked to him. I laughed with him. I laughed at his joke. I told another joke, and we just kept going on. And then after a while, they calmed down a little bit. But you are the person on stage. You are the person with the authority. And you have to remember that the person sitting in front of you who's heckling or challenging you, they aren't someone who's on stage, right? They didn't have the guts to pitch a talk or they didn't get selected. You are on stage. Claim your authority, claim your expertise, know who you really are. Be bold, be kind. It's always good to invite questions. We have a number of questions here and I can't wait to get to them. I love Q&A. Try to keep them towards the end. It's very easy to get distracted and, oh, I want to answer that right now, but try to keep them towards the end to keep in your flow. If you get questions, it means the talk has gone well. It means you have helped people consider where they are. So it's really a sign of a well-received presentation. Now, after that presentation is done, don't leave. Might be tempting to just pack it up, go to the green room, talk to other speakers. hang out in the room until the next speaker comes on, go to the hallway, stick around, answer questions. You're there to develop relationships. So if somebody wants to talk to you about your talk, or lots of times they want to come tell you about a story that you reminded them of, listen to them. They could be a referral. They remember you. You inspired them. If they want to talk to you, be there for them. Have something that you can give people, business cards or a handout, and ask questions of those people who want to talk to you. Listen to them. They're going to tell you things that will give you insight about your audience, new market opportunities, new niches. This is also the perfect time if somebody is like, "Oh my gosh, I loved your talk. You made me think about my business in an entirely different way. You made me think about my life in an entirely different way." Boom. They are in state, right? They are in the perfect state for a testimonial. Ask them now, "Hey, can I just get my phone out? Can I record you doing that testimonial?" "Oh, no. Can I write you one?" "Sure. Here's my email. Write it to me." But if they're willing to do a video testimonial about how well you spoke, boom, take that, put it up on your website. I'm terrible about doing that, but that's the time to get it. I used to do that with my husband's business a lot because he knew when somebody was there, they're in the right state. That is when you're going to capture their excitement and their energy and the impact that you made on them when you were speaking. So ask for a testimonial then. And when you get home, that's when you get to work. Put all of your new contacts, because they are going to be people who filled out the lead form, people who gave you a business card, people whose email address you jotted down, all of these people that you connected. Make it a priority to get them into your CRM and write to each of them and thank them for coming to your talk. Provide any kind of resource to go deeper. Write an email about a story, anything that can continue that conversation, downloads, whatever you've got. It's also great if you can do a series of emails. If you have things that you can follow up with, a case study of people that you've helped, something that relates to this. We talked about this story, this event that I had. I've got some more thoughts on that and I wanted to share them with you. Anything that kind of continues that conversation, because they're going to be busy, like I said before. A free coaching call, great time to do that. Also, what's next for you? Where are you speaking next? What other events do you have coming up? What content are you going to be pushing out to your customers and to your prospective clients? What can they expect from you next? We just want to continue that conversation. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about motivation code. We touched on this a little bit. In the coaching industry, it's really important to have certifications and differentiations. And Motivation Code has certification now available. This is really new. We do have quite a few coaches who are in process on this, but I wanted to mention it to you as well because it's something that can help you market your business. We have the certified M Code coach directory that's up right now. You can go to motivationcode.com/directory and you can see that there if you wanted to take a look at the coaches who have been certified. You get to put this up on your website. It's just another thing that you can do. But it's also cool if you go through the certification, you are an M Code expert. It's something you can talk about. You can go to an event and talk about motivation as it relates to your niche. It's an opportunity for greater content, for greater speaking opportunities, a greater way for you to establish yourself as an expert. So you can go to motivationcode.com and learn more about it. There's two different levels. There's the certified M Code coach, and then there is also the M Code executive coach, and that has that option for trainings that you can do as well as a revenue opportunity. But look at it. It's something that can really help you not only as a speaker, but as a coach. So I just wanted to mention that as an opportunity for you. And here's my end slide. Keep in touch. If you're not already a Coach Factory VIP member, get on that. It's free, coachfactory.co. We also have a Facebook group that we just started. Go to Coach Factory Community. Just search for that on Facebook and you can find that. And all of our social media is Coach Factory Co. on all of the various platforms, including, I think Sean just set up Blue Sky. So if you're on Blue Sky, you can get that there as well. So wherever you are, we're there too. So connect with us on your preferred social media network. And I would love to connect with you there. I am going to get into your questions because these are important. So Chaffin says, how does one find people to attend events? Think this came through on the ones that you are organizing, where you set yourself up as the keynote speaker with other speakers as well. Well, you're going to go to your list. You are going to market to all of the other speakers' lists. You're going to ask them to go to their list and say, hey, I'm a speaker at this event. Go sign up for it. You're going to go to your network. You're going to post it on social media. If it's a local event, go to places where local events are listed. You want to make sure that you have that listing there. Wherever people look for those types of events, groups. If there are groups on Facebook in your niche, ask the administrator, can I share my event? It's perfectly free, and I think it's really going to help people. And maybe I can mention your group as well in this event as giving something back to that administrator to mention that group. So there's lots of different ways that you can market. Kathleen mentions if you've had no prior speaking engagement, start small. Make your kids, if you have kids, or your family, your friends, make them listen to you rehearse. That really does help. Ask for feedback from them. Anything that wasn't clear, make sure you get people who are going to tell you the truth in the kindest way possible. Just get started. It's scary to start, but it's scary to start everything, right? When you started your coaching business, it was probably a little scary too. Anything new is going to be a little bit scary, but as you get going, it gets easier and easier. All right. If the audience are not in support of a very mandatory speech you have to make. So is this if you have if you have an audience that isn't excited to be there, like you have to give them a talk and break some bad news, understand their motivations, understand who you are speaking to, what's in it for them. And if it's something that's just going to break their heart, I'm a firm believer that life doesn't happen to us, life happens for us. Even the hardest things that happen in life, there is some way to reframe that in a way where it is of benefit. How? It is up to you as a speaker to find that how and share that with your audience. Your goal is to inspire them. Your goal is to help them move to a place where they feel empowered. What specific challenge or goal does your audience have my talk directly address? I'm not sure. And a specific challenge or goal does your audience have? Okay, yeah. That's a good question. You want to know your audience. You have to know who you're speaking to, and you have to be able to address that. You have to know who you're speaking to and what problems that they have. And this doesn't go just for speeches, right? You have to know that in your social media marketing, your email marketing, every blog post on your site, every landing page. You have to know the challenges and the aspirations. What struggles does your audience have? And what do they really want? What is their perfect picture? And how do you help them see themselves in that? If you can do that's the talk right there. You do that through stories, you do that through a case study of how you've helped one of your coaching move from point A to point. All right, what if our audience doesn't have a particular zeal for a goal? How can we induce a motivation for them? Ooh, I'll tell you, nobody wants to talk about security. Having marketed security for a number of years in my past life as a tech marketer, nobody wants to talk about it until they hear that their friend's site got hacked, or until they hear that there's an attack campaign targeting sites just like theirs that are using the plugins that they use. Then everybody wants to talk about security. But when people are just in their day-to-day lives, they'll stop what they're doing to talk about how to make more money. They'll stop what they're doing to how to make more leads or how to market better. But security, nobody wanted to talk about. Stories, because the stories really underscore the need that they don't think that they have. A lot of times you're challenging an assumption. They assume something is a certain way. For example, a lot of web developers will put a number of different websites all in certain hosting account called a cPanel. But that cPanel has all of the websites have the same permission. So if a hacker hacks into one site, they basically all of the sites have to be assumed to be contaminated. They're all exposed to that hacker. It was an assumption a lot of developers had, especially a few years ago. And I would have to challenge that assumption and explain to them what I had seen, the stories of horrific hacks that I had lived through. And in that way, I am able to persuade them and motivate them to think about their hosting in a different way. All right, Dixon has restructuring our speech to the audience is really important for understanding because effective communication is a foundation for cooperation. Brilliant insight, Dixon. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. That is really important. Yeah. It's not about your speech. It's about the experience of every single person sitting in a chair in a room that you're speaking to, or every single person who's on a live stream. Each one of you is hearing me in a slightly different way because you have your own filters, you have your own motivational dimensions, you have your own way of perceiving and hearing and taking in information. When NLP, they talk about some people are very visual, some people are very auditory, and some people have to feel it. It needs to be kinesthetic for them. So everybody takes in information differently. You have to know who you're speaking to and who you speak to best. Find those people in the room. Also, really good. Another thing is if there's one person who's like nodding or like smiling every time you look over at them, just consider them a favorite friend and look at them. It'll give you additional confidence while you're speaking. Don't just like continuously look at that one person, but glance over at them over every once in a while because it'll give you confidence. It'll also give you feedback. If they have a look on their face that is more like they have a concern or they have some kind of problem with what you're saying, you might want to go a little bit deeper and explain things a little bit better. Yeah. That's my 101 course on speaking to audiences. You can do it. We all can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You will find more and more comfort the more you do it. At the previous job, one of the developer was extremely personable, well spoken, but he was a developer and he didn't want to be on camera. He did not want to even do a podcast of audio only, and he wasn't much of a writer, but I knew he was an asset. So I had to help him get to the place where, okay, let's just try. I'm going to edit everything. I'm going to make it so easy for you. And the first 10 episodes are going to stink and you're going to hate them, but just bear with me. Now, that developer does live streams all the time, is on camera, and that brand is supported so well because someone was coached to be a speaker. And he's a great speaker and has just a great personality and it all comes out, but he didn't start that way. So if you're just getting started speaking, you have to get coached. You have to coach yourself. You have to set it as a goal and work towards it because it's going to evolve within you. It is going to evolve as part of who you are, but it's never going to happen until you start, right? Once you start, you're going to hate it and you're going to think about all the ways that you could have done it better and you'll be cleaning the kitchen and, oh, I wish I had said that, or, oh, why did I say that? And you'll overthink it. We all tend to do it, especially smart people like you. We overthink things. Make peace with that. It's not about being perfect. It is about doing. It is about progress, not perfection. And it's also about recovery. When something ever goes wrong in your life or something doesn't go the way that you'd like it to do, how soon do you recover and dust yourself off and set up the next talk and say, I'm going to do this better. I learned something. It's not failure. It's feedback. And that feedback is just going to make you better. But you're never going to get the feedback and you're never going to learn until you try, until you get out there, until you experiment, until you show yourself, hey, wow, maybe I do have this in me. It will change your life. It will connect you with audiences you never thought were there. It will make friends for you that you never thought you had. So that's my motivational speech for you to get out there and connect with those audiences and build your business through speaking. So I am so glad that you are here. If you have any questions about Coach Factory, there are some links in the chat that you can see to set up a VIP meeting with me. It's free of charge. If you want to talk about coaching and speaking for your business, if you want to throw me some pitch ideas and say, hey, how do you think this talk would land? I am more than happy to review those. I am here for you. I am here for you to help you build your coaching business. And if any of the expertise and experience that I've had in my life can help you do that, I would love to just meet with you. So you can set me up at any time. I've got a calendar on there and you can just book me at your convenience. You can also send in requests to Coach Factory if you would like us to put together a checklist of everything you need to know when you are out speaking. We can do that as well. And if you want these slides or even that security checklist, I am happy to send those to you as well. You can just email me at Kathy@motivationsai.com or Kathy@Zant.com if that's all you remember. I was lucky to get my last name as a domain name, so it makes it nice and easy. Just email me. I am happy to share any resource that we have available and help you land more leads through speaking. Now, we have another live stream coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to try to keep that pace going of every 2 weeks. You'll get an email if you are on the Coach Factory email list that is coming up, but that's all about leads being everywhere. And here's how to see them. It's going to be a fun talk about finding more leads for your coaching business. So I hope to see you then. Until then, I hope you have a great Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your questions. And thanks for being a part of Coach Factory. We'll talk to you next time.